When I got married, we didn't have a lot of money. My husband had just gotten out of medical school, and I was working as a nurse. So when we got married, he bought me a ring that was really small. And that ring was everything to me. I'd never had an engagement or wedding ring before. And I felt so special until we ended up being at this party with other colleagues of his. And I still remember one of the wives there was showing her ring. And the whole party, because I was sensitive to it, I'm sure, but it turned into this thing of people comparing rings and looking at rings. And for the first time ever, I remember feeling shame or embarrassment about that small wedding ring. Now, up to that point, it had never mattered. I never even thought of it. We had a great marriage and we felt good and I was really in love. But somehow, being around other women and looking at rings and comparing our rings made me feel like I had less, there was something wrong with that. I look around now and I see that very same concept that we're trying to keep up with somebody, the Kardashians, or in the old days it was the Joneses. Basically, it's looking at other people and comparing yourself and feeling inadequate or as if you don't have enough, and that's symbolic of something bad. In truth, when I see couples in my office, it's usually the couple that have the smallest rings that have the tightest marriage because they didn't put their money into some symbol. They invested and put their money into their marriage and their relationship. I see it now a lot if you look at cosmetics or women getting procedures done. Maybe they're getting their face done, or they're getting their breasts augmented, or they're getting something, their tummy tucked. If you talk to them many times where that idea or that motivation to get it done came from was someone they were comparing themselves to. They felt inadequate compared to that other person. Maybe it's inadequate compared to an ad, or inadequate compared to the TV celebrities you like best. Whatever it is, it's usually not something that's coming from deep in you, because the things deep in you would never want you to be put in harm's way to get something else. A friend of mine who teaches this math tutoring course told me that her key to success was to convince one parent that their child would be so much better, so much smarter, get into more schools that they wanted if they simply took her course. This parent not only enrolled her child, but told other parents. And because every parent was comparing themselves, well, I don't want my kid to get behind. I don't want my kid to start failing and feeling out of it. The other parents signed their child up, not thinking, my child is good enough. I don't need to do more coursework. I think what my kid needs is more time with me. And more time doing chores and things around the house that are going to help embrace their character and integrity when they grow up. So I'm talking today a little bit about, how keeping up with others creates a very empty feeling inside you. And because I think it's important. So I'm going to ask you some questions. And if you're in this mode, I'd like you to consider and ask them to yourself. What are you afraid of if you stop trying to keep up with a particular social circle? What do you think is going to be the repercussion for you? Or do you have the support of your partner in cutting back? Do you really need all that stuff? There's a new movement to be minimalist. Much of the millennialists are finally starting to understand that all this stuff and continually comparing yourself to others and getting what's in fashion is making us more stressed out. We're having more marital conflict because we're in debt. And not only that, but it's raising children to become entitled and expect that they'll grow up the same way we did with lots of money. When you put your value on material, you end up basically modeling the importance of material things to your child. When your child says they want a petting zoo birthday party at their house, can you tell your child, wow, that sounds like fun, but we don't have enough money. How about we go to McDonald's with your friends and celebrate that way, and go to the zoo sometime as a family on our own? You'd be establishing really strong values and boundaries for your child with that answer. And not only that, but your child would start to understand, I can't have everything I want. Just because I want it doesn't mean that it's going to be better for me or that I should have it. And lastly, do you really need a caterer at a backyard party? I mean, what's wrong with just getting people together and having a potluck? So many people are terrified to include other people, to entertain other people, because they think it has to look a certain way. It has to look as pretty as another one they went to. Guys, people just come to your house because they want to be with you. They want to have fun. They want to have a glass of wine or a beer and sit back. They want the community, not all the fluff. So let's go back to the things we used to do that underlined our values, our community, and restore feeling connected instead of having loads and loads of stuff and feeling lonely. This is my Monday message.